Let's head to Westminster, where we can speak to the prominent Conservative Eurosceptic MP, Sir Bill Cash. Sir Bill, very good morning to you.
Morning.
I suppose the simple question is, how long has she got in your mind?
Well, as short as possible, really. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I called for a resignation, nearly 3 weeks ago now, and there's nothing but prevarication. I mean, the reality is we've just had the local election results, which were a complete disaster. We've got the European elections, which were never supposed to take place, which apparently are now going to take place. We've got the deal with Corbyn over the withdrawal agreement, which is completely unacceptable, not just because it's with Corbyn, that's bad enough, but also because the withdrawal agreement in itself is appalling. The National Convention is going to meet, I think, in June, and the evidence is that they're going to move a motion of no confidence. And we read the other day, I think it was on Conservative Home, that 4 out of 5 Conservatives wanted her to go. I mean, the situation is intolerable.
I suppose the problem is that whilst there is this groundswell of opinion that Theresa May needs to either set a departure date in the immediate future or go right now, she seems to cling on at every possible opportunity. Is there a means by which you can compel her to leave the post?
Well, I mean, the rules of the 1922 Committee Executive are quite clear. At the same time as it does say that a leader would not have a challenge for a year, the reality is that legal opinion has been taken at a very high level to show that there are other provisions in that same set of rules which enable the 1922 Committee to change the rules. And I'm urging them to change them as soon as possible. I'm afraid I just don't quite understand why they haven't made the change, because if the change isn't made, then presumably she thinks she can cling on.
Just to be very specific, what is it about Theresa May's tenure as Prime Minister that you have found so offensive? Is it that which she has done or not done as regards a Brexit, or the path that she has laid out to finally get us to the point that we thought we were going to be on the 29th of March and actually coming out and heading into withdrawal period?
Well, look, I took a very active part in doing everything possible to get the Withdrawal Act through. That was the act which was passed on the 26th of June 2018, which repeals the 1972 Act, takes us out of all the European treaties and laws, and basically that was fine up to that point in time. The reality is that on the 6th of July, literally only 10 days later, the rules, she changed it. She had this cabinet meeting, people may remember. The cabinet was completely blindsided. Boris Johnson and David Davis resigned, and we then found ourselves moving towards a withdrawal agreement, the effect of which is to make the United Kingdom subservient for a significant number of years to laws made by 27 other member states. It's unbelievable. And on top of that, the reality is that the Northern Ireland situation is also completely broken, because under the backstop, the constitutional status of Northern Ireland, as you'll hear from the DUP, is itself completely not merely jeopardised but broken as well.
But isn't the problem, Sir Bill? I mean, you've got people like Dominic Raab, who, one of the front runners for the job, frankly, if Theresa May goes in the immediate future, who seems to be running on a platform of going back to Brussels and renegotiating the withdrawal agreement, which they have said time and time again isn't going to happen.
Well, there has to be some form of outcome as a result of the Lisbon Treaty in terms of the manner in which we leave. But the Lisbon Treaty itself stipulates that the arrangements for withdrawal cease 2 years after the time when we put in the withdrawal notice itself, which we did just well over 2 years ago. And the bottom line, therefore, is that we ought to be leaving on the 29th of March. However, then they went for the extension of time. That was allowed under the Lisbon Treaty arrangements, but then it was extended, and then we got this other arrangement which had just been entered into, which I described as an abject surrender a few weeks ago, on which I believe is unlawful anyway, which demonstrated the fact that we were going to stay on until 31st of October. I mean, this is a sort of never-ending situation, and it's completely and totally unnecessary and unacceptable. We should be leaving the European Union. We should get on with it, and we should leave, as I said to her in the liaison committee only a few days ago.
Indeed. Well, a busy few days ahead for you and your colleagues in the party, Sir Bill Cash.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.